note that this content is for adults only. Viewer discretion advised. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe, like, and share. Hello everyone and welcome back to another live stream with me, Grizzly K. This is Grizzly True Crime, and today this case takes us to New Hampshire, Massachusetts. So if there's any locals in chat, welcome to you. I'm sure there's many of you in chat that have followed this case from the beginning. I've actually never covered this case on my channel except for we had a members stream when the probable cause affidavit came out because it was so heartbreaking to read. It was so terrible. So don't worry if you are worried. I saw earlier that people were a little worried that they won't be able to handle this case. As you know, here at Grizzly True Crime, I cover cases as delicately as I can, gently. I don't want to, share anything too graphic or anything like that. So you should be in safe hands here, okay? So it is still true crime, and it does involve a little girl, and it's absolutely heartbreaking, okay? But I'm going to cover it like I always do. So if you're new here, make sure that you are subscribed, okay? Like, share, hashtag Harmony Montgomery, Justice for Harmony Montgomery, also Adam Montgomery trial, because that's what's coming up. Welcome to all my moderators. Thank you so much for everything you do. All my patrons, members, all the OGs, which here means original Grizzlies, and all the new people who are going to join this community today. Michelle said, I'm going to have a very hard time with this trial. It's so sad and unnecessary. It's a very sad case. Yes. Hey, Crime Curious. Nice to see you as well. Welcome. And if I miss any other content creators in chat, welcome to you. So as usual, I've got a presentation for you. You know I love to make presentations for you. And so we're going to get into that. It's an overview of the case because Adam Montgomery is going to be on trial supposedly from February 6th. I say supposedly because, sometimes there's delays, but they do say it's set to start on February 6th. So I want to make sure that we are prepared, I hope, to cover it. You never know how they're going to stream it or what they're going to do. There's many factors, of course, that go into that. Time zones are things. This time zone is not too bad, Eastern time. So I'm 6 hours ahead of that. So I do want to make sure that no matter what, that you are prepared for whenever the trial is, okay? Cindy says, Justice for Harmony. Yeah. What a case. Okay, so buckle up. It does come with a trigger warning. As I say, this is, another case involving a little girl. Look at her. She's the sweetest thing. Harmony Montgomery. Forever 5. So, I don't know about you, but for me, cases involving children are just the worst. It's really, really difficult to cover. It's so difficult for me every single time. And I'm sure it's difficult for you to hear as well. But we're in it together. We're going to listen to the details. And hopefully we will see justice for Harmony Montgomery. Now, this is a picture of Harmony Montgomery. And I'm just showing you quickly so that who we're dealing with here. It's Adam Montgomery is her biological father. And those are his charges. Look what he's been charged with. And this is not counting what he's already been convicted of. He's got a long rap sheet, and last year in June, he was actually on trial. It was a weapons related charges, and they called it the firearms trial, I think. That was a 4-day trial. We might actually, I either want to summarize that, or maybe we can watch it together, because it was only 4 days, before this trial starts. I'll keep you posted, okay? But now, the charges that he's facing, there's going to be on trial for, is second-degree murder, tampering with witnesses and informants, falsifying physical evidence, and abuse of a corpse. So it's like worse than the male version of Letitia Stach. Wow. Okay. Yeah, Janet says that is not a father, right? So in June of 2023, a jury found Mr. Montgomery guilty of 2 counts each of armed career criminal, theft by unauthorized taking, and receiving stolen property for stealing 2 firearms, a Mossberg shotgun, and AR-15 Bear Arms rifle from a home in Manchester between September and October of 2019. Judge Amy Messer sentenced him to a minimum of 32 years in state prison. So for that, he's already got many years. But there's got to be justice for Harmony. I mean, he's still yet to face it, and he's actually so arrogant. I'll show you a clip later of him in the court addressing the judge ahead of his trial, saying that he looks forward to his trial, and being found innocent or whatever of these offensive charges. Like, offensive, well, we're hearing a lot of offensive things that he allegedly did, and there's many witnesses that came along and said so, right? Okay, now the state's witnesses for this trial will include 79 civilians, including Harmony's mother and stepmother, 73 members of law enforcement, 6 expert witnesses, 31 record keepers. So they do say, I mean, with that amount of potential witnesses, I'm like, damn, how long is this trial going to be? Is it like, we're talking about 12 weeks or what? But they say it should be about a month or so. It's for the month of February, starting on the 6th with jury selection. However, the defense is currently seeking 2 separate trials. They want one trial for his assault charges, which are second-degree assault charges, and one trial for second-degree murder charges. They have said that if that happens, which the judge will have to decide on very soon, because, I mean, February's just around the corner. If that happens, then the second-degree assault charges trial would be about a week, and the other one would be about 3 to 3.5 weeks. Now, this witness list is available on the New Hampshire, county court link there if you just look it up. But I have also put the witness list on Patreon, because then it's also easy for me to find, as well as all the patrons can see it, because then I'm like, oh yeah, when did I post that? There it is. Okay, so if you are on Patreon, you can see it there from today's post. I attached it for you. So that is public information, okay? Now, they say the defense is seeking 2 separate trials. They want to keep his previous conviction. This is based on him, right? He wants to keep his previous convictions out of this trial unless he testifies. And they also want evidence of Adam buying lime, that's a red flag, from Home Depot, by the way, not Walmart, just saying, okay, and other items to help dispose of Harmony's body. They want to keep that evidence out, amongst other things as well. So, the defense is already doing the best they can to throw as much of this evidence out, because there sure is a lot of evidence against him, okay? So, jury selection begins on February 6th of 2024. Now, if you're still like, okay, what's happening in this case? Don't worry. I just wanted to let you know why we're preparing for this and when the trial is set to be for now. If you're watching this from the future, let's hope the trial did start on that day. If it didn't, well, we'll watch it together at some point, right? Because sometimes these things get delayed. However, I say again, the judge is like, no, it's starting on February the 6th, jury selection. So let's hope so. Okay. Now, Harmony Montgomery was born on June 7th of 2014. Her mother is Crystal Sorry. She has one brother, Jamison, as well. Jamison. Her father is Adam Montgomery, and her stepmother was Kayla Montgomery. And so she had 2 half-brothers, because Kayla had children with Adam at the time that Harmony was alive. Once Harmony was no longer alive, which is just so horrible, oh my word, then Kayla actually had a daughter with Adam. Oh my word. I think it was about 11 months after Harmony was allegedly murdered. Yeah, Kayla had another child with Adam. Oh goodness. Her family was troubled, transient, and engaged with the Massachusetts child protection system. She was failed everywhere you looked, honestly. This is one of those cases where it's going to make you really sad and really mad, because it's like, how does this happen? How could Harmony, no one saw her since the end of 2019, but she was only reported missing in 2021? 2 years later. 2 years. For 2 years, no one actually knew she was missing. That is shocking. So, yeah, the child protection system failed her here, too. Everyone failed Harmony. That's what is just so heartbreaking. Now, Harmony Montgomery, I'm sharing a new tip line here, because as you could see from this flyer, when they reported her missing, which we'll go over the timeline now, but it was 2 years later. So the police were like, oh my word, we're 2 years behind. What? Like, where do we start? We've now got to backtrack and see who was the last person who saw her and when. Okay? And that did not help because, because Kayla lied so much. Adam's girlfriend lied a lot about when she last saw Harmony, and it took many, many times of interviewing her to finally just get some answers. So thankfully, she did eventually tell them a lot of information, which has been really key to this case. But as you can see, there was a tip line established, and they've just announced, as in the last 2 weeks, that there's a new tip line, which is important. So please share it as well. You can screenshot this and share it, or share it on social media. I'll timestamp it as well when for the replay viewers, right? New tip line, in case anyone out there has information about when they last saw Harmony. They've narrowed it down pretty well, but they've never found her body. So if anyone saw any suspicious activity of someone, it sounds horrible, but like chucking apparently stuff wrapped in plastic in various places, they don't know exactly where. You just never know. A U-Haul truck was rented by Adam, and he apparently went around with a friend and chucked a whole bunch of stuff out, which the friend at the time wasn't sure what it was, according to what we know at this point. So this guy, just look at him. It's just infuriating. Don't mind me if I get infuriated during this coverage, okay? I'm sure you will as well. Love Starlurk says, I will be at Harmony's trial. Okay, I see there's a few Grizzlies that are going to be there, and Crime Curious is also going to be there. So that's great that there will be boots on the ground, right? When Harmony was born, her parents were already separated. Adam was actually incarcerated when she was born. And she was diagnosed at birth with a visual disability and was blind in one eye. Now, do remember that, because it'll make you even more mad at Adam Montgomery, because for him to physically abuse a child, like hit her, right, when she's blind in one eye, and scared, it's just, you can't even imagine. For the first 4 years of her life, she was in and out of foster care, with DCYF's attempt, so that's like CPS, right, to reunite her with her parents. Her parents struggled with substance abuse. In February of 2019, at a hearing in Massachusetts, Adam, even though he had such a long rap sheet, was granted sole custody of Harmony. DCYF had not checked his home, wife, or situation out at all when he was granted sole custody of Harmony, even though he saw her less than 10 times her whole life up to that point. Didn't show much interest. Didn't sound like any time with him was great at all. He would, trigger warning, make her stand in the corner for hours, make her brush, clean the toilet with her toothbrush. Horrible, horrible stuff, okay? But here, the court really messed up by granting him, a career criminal, sole custody of Harmony. And apparently, it was like a little, I can't want to say glitch, but her mother was fighting for custody of her. Her mother also struggled with substance abuse, and Harmony was in and out of foster care, and they tried to reunite her with her mother multiple times, and then eventually decided, no, now they're going to pursue the dad. But on that day when Adam was granted sole custody, it's also because Crystal, Harmony's mother, wasn't in court. It was as if she was a no-show, but yet she had court scheduled on that day at the same time for both her children, meaning fighting for custody for both her kids. So she went to the one hearing and couldn't go to the other. Oh my goodness. So he was awarded sole custody. And yet, even in foster care, she stayed with, from what I hear, great families, loving families. And yet the system wanted to, of course, return her to her parents, which normally might sound like a good thing. In this situation, not at all, right? Not at all. Now, in February of 2019, that's when she was, February 2019. So just remember that, okay? Because that was like half a year before she was murdered. 10 months. It's just ridiculous to think that Adam got sole custody of her and it was a giant red flag, career criminal, and then she actually ended up allegedly murdered. Okay. So he moved Harmony with him to New Hampshire to live with his wife, Kayla Montgomery, and their 2 sons, both under the age of 5. Apparently, Adam would make Harmony look after the infants, right? And if they cried, he beat her. In August of 2019, an anonymous call alerted DCYF that Harmony had a black eye, but the claim was ruled unfounded. So I believe that that was actually Adam Montgomery's cousin. I think his name is Kevin, if I stand corrected. Believe me, I've been on a deep dive in the last 48 hours on this case, like deep dive. We've covered it a little bit before, right? We've gone through the probable cause affidavit. I've followed along, but oh my word, the details in this case, I could sit here for 6 months preparing and just never be ready. So we're talking about all these details that we know here. So if you know something or you want to correct something like that, I think his name was Kevin, the cousin, let me know. But yeah, he apparently noticed that Adam would physically abuse Harmony and had this anonymous call. But then when the DCYF workers came out, then Adam would explain it away, saying, and he would tell Harmony to explain it in the same way. Like, no, they were just horsing around, playing with the siblings. It's fine. And she would be like, yep, that's what happened. And they're like, okay. Oh no. So I hope they learn from this. We don't want cases like this to learn from. It's horrible. But I really hope this is a gigantic lesson to really look more closely, right? Kelly says, oh yeah, I forgot about Kevin. Right? Okay, so here is actually a photo of Harmony with Adam and Kayla. Bayou Babe says the system definitely failed Harmony. Yes. In January of 2020, DCYF responded to another call, but Harmony wasn't there. So even after Harmony was no longer alive and no longer there, anonymous callers were still calling DCYF for how they were worried about the other kids as well. When they asked where she was, Adam said, oh, she was with her mother. Hadn't seen her in a year. Wow, now listen to this. A CPS worker left a voicemail for Crystal, the mother, because that's where Adam said Harmony was. But she didn't answer the call, it went to voicemail, and guess what? Neither side followed up. The CPS worker didn't call again or look for Harmony again. And at that time, I don't know if Crystal heard the voice note or what, but that resulted in no one looking for Harmony for 2 years. Isn't that scary? Oh my word. Okay. So then Harmony had never been registered for public school in Manchester. And by September of 2021, someone who knew Crystal reported that they had not seen Harmony since 2019, and they couldn't reach Adam for a visit. And then Crystal called the police to report Harmony as missing on November 18th of 2021, and that really kicked off the investigation. And as the police said, which we'll look at later as well, they just said, we can't investigate what we don't know about, because people were really hard on the police and saying, well, why didn't you know? Why didn't you investigate? They're like, we didn't know. How do we know? Unless someone reports, that someone is missing to us. So, a shame. That was November 18th, 2021. She was reported missing. Remember, she was last seen in December of 2019. Unbelievable. So then, Easter of 2019 was, let's first go to December 31st of 2021. Adam actually gave contradictory statements to the police about Harmony's whereabouts, and a massive search for Harmony began, because already then the police were like, yeah, this guy, doesn't want to talk to us. He had an attitude because he's a career criminal, of course. And at some point he even said, when they approached his car, which we'll get to later in the presentation, if you either arrest me or leave me alone. Like what are you going to do? He didn't want to talk about where Harmony was at all. So then around Easter of 2019 is when Crystal said she last spoke to Harmony over a FaceTime call. And she said that it seemed like Harmony was terrified on the call, which is also very sad, to hear. Okay, and so Harmony was last seen in October 2019, but no one knew she was missing until 2 years later. She was last seen when she was 5 years old. So she was only 5 years old. That she lived for 5 years on this earth, and by everything we're hearing, it was absolutely horrendous. In and out of foster care, back and forth to her mother, who struggled with substance abuse. People called, DCYF on her mother multiple times, saying the mother is getting high, neglecting her child. Like, please, can you look into this? And they did, and they took, Harmony out of her care many times. It's just terrible. And they said each time that she went back to these loving, caring foster families, they said her needs got more and more because she started getting more and more traumatized, of course, right? Okay. Forensic Fuhrer says, gee, your bullet points are everything. Oh, thank you so much. If anyone is new here, man, we love bullet points over here, documents, map time, snarky where appropriate. You know, of course, usually towards the criminals, oh my word. Like this Adam guy, he can really get on your nerves, believe me. If you haven't ever heard of him, or you're gonna throughout this episode and future ones. So then between January of 2019 and January of 2020, the police were actually called to Adam's home in New Hampshire 16 times. So neighbors were concerned, friends were concerned, family was concerned. January 4th of 2022 is when Adam Montgomery was arrested on charges of second-degree assault and endangering the welfare of a child. On January 6th of 2022, Manchester police arrested Kayla Montgomery, which was his wife, right? Okay. And for welfare fraud. And in June of 2022, investigators returned to Adam's home in Manchester. I don't know if you guys remember that. That was huge news because it kind of went a little bit quiet for a bit, and then suddenly investigators and the FBI and everyone was back at the house where they last knew Harmony lived with Adam and Kayla and the half-brothers. So they went back there, and the FBI were there seen removing a refrigerator with like biohazard tape and digging in the backyard, and that was frightening to see, right? Okay. Okay. You guys are saying in chat that Kevin is Adam's uncle. That sounds familiar. Okay, uncle. Thank you so much. So these are just some pictures from that day. I don't know if you remember it. If you did follow it on social media, these pictures went all over the place and people were like, what is happening, right? Okay. And they were searching, yes, everywhere. Now, what we're going to do now is I'm going to go over all the Manchester Police Department press conferences because from that point, you know, in November of 2021, when Crystal reported Harmony missing and the police got involved and the investigation started and they started searching everywhere and it became national news and then international news, of course, like it is here, right? In Europe. So sometimes if news is here, we've got a European audience. We've got people from the UK, from Tokyo, from all over the place, right? Australia. So this case was big news, especially at that point, right? Now, these press conferences, just a couple of bullet points from them. I watched them all for you and summarized them just like that, right? In a few bullet points. So December 31st of 2021 was the first press conference, which is not long after Crystal, Harmony's mother, had reported her missing. So they're first looking into it and talking to family members and interviewing people, and then they realized something is very, very wrong here. And then they had a press conference, right? And in that press conference, they said that Harmony was last seen in October of 2019 in Manchester, New Hampshire. Any and all information the public has is important, and they still say that. She had not been enrolled in school since she was last seen, and they are working around the clock to look for Harmony. Okay. A Danish girl says the foster parents really wanted to keep her, and she would have been together with her brother, Jamieson. Exactly. That is also a very sad side to the story. This case has many layers, lots of details, Everest amounts of documents, so much, and a trial that already happened before and all sorts of things for other charges. So yeah, we got a lot to talk about for a while, right? So then January 3rd of 2022 was the next press conference, and then they announced a reward. I didn't put the whole amount there now because it was a little confusing. You know, they split it up, 10,000 here, 5,000 there, and this much. I don't know how much the total was at that time, but it got up to about $150,000, I think, eventually. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, if you remember them, we just looked at their incredible work as well recently on this channel when we were learning about the case of William Deshaun Hamilton, the Teresa Black trial. If you didn't check that out, go check it out. It's an amazing, sad story, but an amazing story. You know, of how he was identified. So the NCMEC and DCYF and Manchester PD were working together. They were working hard to investigate the disappearance of Harmony Montgomery, and they said the FBI was also involved. They said they can't investigate what isn't known to them, and they said where Harmony should have been and who she should have been with, yeah, she's not there. I love how passionate the police chief is. If you've never watched the press conferences, they are on Facebook, and they're available under the Manchester Police Department's official Facebook page. And if you just go, you know, where you find like posts, videos, you go to more, scroll, there's a little drop down arrow and you say live and you can watch them there. I've summarized them here for you, but if you want to watch them, right? So the reward was announced, and then they said all those people are involved, they're helping to look for Harmony. And they said, the chief said, I'm in rescue mode right now. And he was really worried. You could see his whole heart was in this case. Shame, man. Harmony was last seen in the city of Manchester, October 2019. They confirmed again, and they said her glasses are an important identifier. So they had pictures of her with the missing pliers and things with her glasses on, because they said she would have been 7 years old at the point, but they said, she was blind in one eye and had visual impairment, so she probably would have been wearing glasses even if she, had grown, because she was 5 when she was last seen, and now she would have been 7, or if she had different hair, different look, whatever it was, they're like, look for the glasses, and here's some pictures of her. Shame, man, look at her. She's so sweet. My word. I don't know. It's just horrible that anyone could hurt her like that. But of course, Adam Montgomery is very cold and callous, and only after his own selfish needs, from what we could see, right? Which is to get money and to get substances and clearly to commit crimes as a career criminal, right? Welcome to Lynette from Connecticut. Okay, so we're pacing ourselves here. Hope you guys are okay. There were two more press conferences, I think there was. One was on August 11th of 2022. They said, Harmony likely, this is when things took a turn, okay, at this press conference. They said, Harmony likely disappeared between November 28th, 2019 and December 10th of 2019. So they really narrowed down that time period. They said at this point, at this point, law enforcement had spoken to Kayla Montgomery multiple times after she was arrested in January of 2022. They announced that they believe she was murdered. That was a devastating announcement, right? Okay. And they said her body has not been found, but this is now officially a homicide investigation. They encourage the public to share any information that might help the investigation, and they believe that people in the community know information about what happened to Harmony or where she last was. So the police chief actually said, be an adult. Act like adults. Give us the information. No more playing around. Like, he's very strict, okay, but I liked it. It was very good press conferences. So again, I'm sharing the new tip line, because at the time they had a different tip line, but they've just recently, in the last 2 weeks or so, said that there's this new tip line. So please remember that this is the new tip line to call if you have any information, okay? There's another picture there of the beautiful Harmony Montgomery. Now, on October 24th of 2022 was another press conference. They said that at that press conference in August 2022, they concluded, based on evidence, including biological evidence, that Harmony was murdered in Manchester in early December of 2019. Another major step was announced. They said Adam Montgomery was arrested and charged with second-degree murder for causing the death of Harmony, striking Harmony in the head with a closed fist, falsifying evidence. That was between December 7th of 2019 and March 4th of 2020. Abuse of a corpse, tampering with witnesses. They also said, of course, Adam is presumed innocent until proven guilty. And then the police chief said, and his voice kind of broke, he got really emotional, and he said, do something nice for a child today to respect and honor Harmony. Shame. So he said, say something nice to a child, or, encourage them, tell them you'll protect them. And that was just a beautiful message. So they said their work is not done. The investigation continues, and they have not located Harmony's body. And to this day, they have unfortunately still not. But by knowing that Adam was buying lime and asking for tools and tarps and blankets and all sorts of things, it sounds very, very sinister. Okay. So, quick timeline recap for those of you only joining the stream now. Remember, this is a live stream and not like it's not in the video section. So for replay watchers, just keep that in mind, that it is a live stream. So we're chatting live here with the community. I hope that you'll join us for future live streams, okay? And in the video section, there are videos without interruptions or chatting or things like that. So for anyone just joining now, welcome. We are looking at the case of Harmony Montgomery. Her dad is going to be on trial. Oh, I don't like calling him her dad, right? But her father is going to be on trial from February 6th of 2024. That's the date they've set for jury selection, and it should be about a month long unless they sever the trials, one for the assault charge, one for the second-degree murder charge. Then the assault one should be a week to a week and a half. The other one should be 3 to 3.5 weeks is what they say, okay? So we're preparing for the trial so that we know when it happens. We don't have to be like, what is this case and what? We know, okay? We do this a lot on this channel, okay? We do trial prep, okay? So, a quick timeline recap. July 2018, Harmony Montgomery's mother, Crystal, loses custody of her due to substance abuse issues. April of 2019, Crystal speaks to her daughter on FaceTime over Easter. It's the last time she saw her daughter alive. July of 2019, Adam Montgomery admits to a relative that he bashed Harmony. That's to that uncle. That he bashed Harmony during one instance after she tried to get her younger brother to stop crying during a bath. A Department of Children caseworker who visited the home found Harmony had a black eye. But then they said, oh, well, there's like nothing to see here, really. Okay, August of 2019, a caseworker from DCYF visits the home a second time and noticed a red mark in Harmony's eye and faded bruising under her eyelid. The injuries are blamed on horseplay with the younger sibling. October of 2019, a caseworker visits the home and notes that the family is happy. Oh my word. Well, what do you expect from someone who would plausibly fall under the banner of a coercive controller, an abuser, putting fear into everyone, right? And so he could play along and make everyone else play along. That's what it seems like, really put on that show. So they're like, oh, this is such a happy family. No, dear. November 27th of 2019, the Montgomery family is evicted from their New Hampshire apartment. And we're going to get to this now. I'm just giving you, so it's timeline recap with a little bit of what we can expect next, okay? So the Montgomery family is evicted from the New Hampshire apartment. Investigators said that Harmony was homeless and living out of a car with their family in the days before her disappearance. From November to December of 2019, Harmony was last seen alive. Her stepmother, Kayla Montgomery, later told police that at the time her husband was driving Harmony to the child's mother in Massachusetts, which was a lie. Kayla lied a lot at first. January 2020, a caseworker with DCYF contacts Adam Montgomery to check on the child. He tells him that she was living with her mother. 2021, caseworkers twice visit the Montgomery home. September of 2021, a close contact of Harmony's mother contacts authorities over concerns that Crystal hadn't seen her daughter since 2019 and hadn't been able to contact Adam Montgomery. That would also be because Adam and Kayla blocked Crystal on all social media, sites and on her phone as well. Which, doesn't that remind you, when you hear that, of Gabby Petito's case, when the laundry's blocked Gabby's parents? It's so cold, it's so horrible, and this is Harmony's mother. But Adam blocked Crystal, and so did Kayla. Okay, so November of 2021, Harmony was officially reported missing. January of 2022, investigators searched the home and garden in New Hampshire where Harmony lived with her father before her disappearance. And then her father is jailed on charges of endangering her welfare over the July 2019 assault and various other charges. He's not charged with her disappearance at that point. And then June 2022, the FBI officers searched the Montgomery family's former home for a second time, and that's when they were seen removing a refrigerator and other pieces of furniture. August of 2022, police say the investigation is officially a homicide investigation. And January of 2023, Adam Montgomery is indicted on charges of second-degree murder, abuse of a corpse, falsifying evidence, and witness tampering. So now let's continue on. Again, trigger warning. Okay, this case is very sad. It involves a 5-year-old, beautiful little girl and a monstrous father, right? Now, I just wanted to quickly just, tell you about Kayla Montgomery and, was she ever held accountable? I don't know if she was held accountable enough, based on everything that we know now, based on the probable cause affidavit, but she's one of the key witnesses. She's the one who finally said what happened. So, yeah, okay. She was arrested on January 5th of 2022 for felony welfare fraud. See, I wrote welfare twice there. Welfare fraud. Just felony welfare fraud. Those charges were later dropped and then changed to felony theft charges that were added. Now, why that is because after Harmony Montgomery had been murdered, while Kayla, by the way, was in the car, so it was Adam and Kayla in the front of the car, 3 kids in the back, just so you know what to expect from this case, Adam got really mad at Harmony, who's in the back, for having accidents, although they lived in a car, and he was angry that she didn't verbalize that she needed to go to the toilet. So he turned around while driving and hit her in the back of the car multiple times, and that is how she died, okay? Kayla was in the car the whole time then. Anyway, but after Harmony had died, Kayla was actually collecting food stamps, which both Kayla and Adam were struggling with severe substance abuse and cashing in. And they were getting benefits as well, of course. That would be one of the, let's say, plausible speculations, that one of the motives as well to have Harmony with them and have the kids sometimes could be, in horrible cases like this, the financial benefits, like if they get disability benefits and food stamps and all sorts of things, right? So that habit actually continued afterwards. They continued to collect food stamps and like welfare checks and things, even though Harmony was no longer alive, okay? So then Kayla actually pleaded guilty to 2 counts of perjury because she lied and lied and lied to a grand jury, to the police, to everyone, until eventually she didn't. And she did say that she was terrified of speaking out against Adam, which also makes sense if you know a lot about, we've looked at cases where it's, domestic violence cases, and coercive controllers and all of that. So, I mean, she would have been scared, but of course, lying is still not okay, and it really didn't help. And then in those situations, one can learn, just think of the victim. Think of little Harmony. You have to speak for her sake, right? Okay. Now, she pleaded guilty to 2 counts of perjury. She was collecting food stamps for Harmony even after she was murdered. On July 5th of 2022, she was released from jail. On May 20th of 2022, she actually testified under oath at the grand jury for the Hillsborough County Northern District. On June 3rd of 2022, she had a proffer interview number 1. On June 23rd, proffer interview number 2. Lies about when she last saw Harmony, lied about her being murdered, all that. She didn't say anything like that. She just said, no, she last saw Adam taking Harmony back to her mother. Yes, that's the story she was sticking to, right? Okay. So Danielle said Harmony has issues because she was sent from one foster home to another. She couldn't help her accident, such a disgrace. But the other thing is, it's even worse when it's a 5-year-old child and 2 younger half-brothers living in a car. Like, how is Harmony supposed to ask the scary dude, like, Daddy, I need to go to the bathroom, because anything she does, he hits her? Can you imagine the terror? Can you imagine the trauma? Can you imagine, even at any age, asking someone like Adam Montgomery for anything? If I was in the back of his car right now and I had to go to the toilet, I'd be scared to ask based on everything I know about him, right? So imagine a 5-year-old little girl who got beaten for everything she did, anything she did. Nothing was good enough, everything was terrible, and he took everything out on her, which is just horrible. Oh, man. So then, November 11th of 2022, she pleads guilty to 2 felony counts of perjury and agrees to testify against Adam at his trials. She actually testified at that first trial I talked about, right? The one about the weapons charges. That was a 4-day trial. And she testified against him, which must have taken some courage, I guess. I'm not really trying to give her credit. I'm just saying. Probably was scary for her, if we compartmentalize that moment for a second. And she is also expected to be the state's star witness at this upcoming homicide trial. Now, in November of 2023, she was sentenced to at least 18 months in prison. They say that she is at the New Hampshire Correctional Facility for Women with a release date of 2029. So when they say at least 18 months, but yet she's sentenced till 2029, I don't know what her release date will look like, or if she's eligible for parole after 18 months. I haven't done a deep dive on exactly that, where she's at and when she could be out, but we know she's in prison. That's from what I know. If there's anything to correct, tell me. Okay, tell me. Yeah, no, I'm not thinking, Steel Guitar says, you're thinking, no, that's what I always remind people. You can't project logic on these people because this guy was high and not rational. I agree with you, Steel Guitar. No, one can't say, how could he do this? We can't say that because he was completely high, he was aggressive, he was abusive, he was impulsive, and he really just wanted more substance, more money, and just to get on with things. And was getting frustrated with obviously being evicted from their home and living in a car with 3 kids and his wife. I mean, what a disgusting human being he is, right? Okay, so looking forward to seeing Kayla back on the stand. Let's hope she tells the whole truth and nothing but the truth, because that has not been the case many times. She's apparently 32 years old now, and I think that Adam is 33. Huh? That's a hard 33. I mean, sure. Okay. Now, the probable cause affidavit. If you guys remember, we had a member stream 7 months ago, right after it came out, just to very cautiously and delicately work our way through it. So I did it as a member stream, not to put it behind a paywall, but because I was so scared. I wanted to share it, but I was like, I don't know how much of this we can actually work through. It's like a bit of a test run. So I'm going to read that probable cause affidavit again to make a video for you guys, or we can go through, I'll figure out exactly if we're going to do a live stream or video or whatever. I will share it with you, but there will be a page or two that I am not going to be sharing because it's just absolutely horrifying. It's sickening what he did to her body, okay, to her remains. It's too much. It's too much what they describe. It's like, on this channel, if there's trials and they're streaming graphic photos and things, I don't show that. So same way, I'm not going to say certain words. And if that's just too sensitive for you, then okay. Then I'm too sensitive for you. Now, the probable cause affidavit is, it's horrendous. I had to read it all again yesterday and today. It's horrible. Okay, if you've never read it, that's why I'm going to first talk about I've made some bullet points, and we're going to look at the Maptime, okay? Because, man, did this guy take Harmony's body places all over the place, in a duffel bag and all over you won't believe what he did. You thought it's already bad. It gets so much worse. It's horrifying, okay? So trigger warning, all right? The probable cause affidavit was released to the public on June 20th of 2023. I think our member stream was actually on June 21st, and it was very scary, and I will never unhear it either. I won't see it either. Most of us are visual learners, and what we heard him do is just... Now, Kayla told the police eventually, yes, that Harmony was murdered, and she said on December 7th of 2019, because up to that point, she was saying, just after Thanksgiving, and it was Thanksgiving, and sometime around Thanksgiving, but it ended up being, she said, December 7th of 2019, when they were all living in a 2010 Chrysler Sebring. Adam hit Harmony in the face and head because he was angry that she was having accidents in the car. Adam and Kayla had blocked all contact with Crystal, phone and social media. Crystal last saw Harmony on a FaceTime call, Easter 2019. She said that Harmony seemed really scared. Police spoke with family members of Adam's in Florida, who told them that they saw him hit Harmony in approximately July of 2019, which is, I think, where that second-degree assault charge originates from, okay? In December of 2021, police actually approached a vehicle in Manchester that Adam and his new girlfriend, because him and Kayla then split up, and Adam and his new girlfriend, Kelsey Small, were sleeping in the vehicle. Adam had no emotion, the police said, didn't want to talk about Harmony. And Kelsey was apparently confused and unaware that there was this kid called Harmony because she knew about the 3 other children that he had with Kayla, the 2 boys and a daughter. But she'd never heard about Harmony. Okay, so at that point, Adam and Kayla lied about Harmony's whereabouts, claiming that she was with Crystal. Both of them stuck to that story. Now, very sadly, Kelsey, the new girlfriend, died of an overdose in the Econo Lodge that we're going to hear a little bit about from this probable cause affidavit. So she's no longer around. Bayo Babe says, how did he get a girlfriend? He seemed to get around a lot. Oh dear. So, okay, then I'm reminding you of what his charges are that he's facing for his trial now in February 6th of 2024, right? Bertie says, are you going to do the trial in a delay so that you can censor the bad bits if you are watching? Yeah, I think that's a very, very good idea. I was thinking of even maybe not covering it live, because when it involves cases involving children, oh my word, never mind like a deep flap delay, maybe just like a day or 2 delay. We'll see how it goes. I just want to monitor it, so that it's not absolutely horrendous. If you want to go and hear absolutely horrendous things, there's places to do that, right? We all have our boundaries and we all have our ways of doing things. Okay, so, and I have to add this, that it doesn't mean that we are not, we don't do true crime properly or something. You can cover true crime in many ways. I cover it in a sensitive way, okay? So that's what if you hear and you like that, then yeah, if you haven't subscribed yet, you found your tribe. Now, he said when the police approached that car that he was in with Kelsey, he said, either arrest me or I'm leaving. Like, this guy has a lot of attitude, a lot. I'm going to show you a clip after this of him in court addressing the judge, okay? Bertie B says, okay, thank you, wonderful. And Bertie, I saw your comment on Patreon. You were worried about being here today, and I'm so glad that you are here and that you trust me with my coverage, you know? Thank you. It's always going to be done as sensitively as possible. So, moving on here, they said police spoke with family members who told them that he hit Harmony in approximately July 2019. And then we know about this when they approached the vehicle, and then just him saying, either arrest me or I'm leaving. Oh dear. And then social workers told police, because the police then started trying to backtrack because they were 2 years behind because they didn't know that Harmony was missing until the end of 2021. And they're like, whoa, we got to go talk to family members, social workers. We got to find Adam. We got to talk to Crystal, everyone and everything, right? So they went around. They said social workers told police that they last saw Harmony on October 1st of 2019 with Adam and Kayla in New Hampshire. And you see, that's where the initial reports of Harmony last being seen in October of 2019 and from those press conferences come from. Because I was wondering, who last saw her exactly in October? And they say it's social workers. Family then said they hadn't seen Harmony since 2019 either. They said around July, and I believe that there was some family living in that house, which I think is it called Guilford Street, right? In the house with Adam and Kayla and the kids, and the family, from what I remember, was so, I don't want to say scared of Adam, but his behavior was so abrasive, so aggressive. They moved to Florida. You know, like, okay, we're packing up and going. I believe, remind me if you know that detail, because I think like his mother owned the house or something, but they all ran. They all like, okay, we're moving to Florida. Like this guy, they couldn't get him out of the house and things like that. So he was just scary all around. But Adam, Kayla, Harmony, and the two boys lived at this home, yes, in Guilford Street in Manchester, before they became homeless and had to live in their car, which was a 2010 Chrysler Sebring. Kayla said that their car broke down on December 7th of 2019, and Adam was upset with Harmony for not saying when she needed to go to the bathroom, which led to having accidents in the car. Now, Harmony's mother, in an interview, she's had quite a few interviews, she's also been on Court TV, has said that breaks her heart as well, because she knew that Harmony had accidents, especially when she felt really scared or confused about what was going on. And I mean, she was only 5 years old, you know. Forensic Fury says he was very intimidating. Gee, yes, they all felt uneasy. And I think that's how they also they got evicted, because I think it was one of his family members' homes and paying for it. And I just remember that they were like, they couldn't get him out of the house. And so they all packed up and left. And then eventually he couldn't pay for the house. So he was evicted. So that was their solution. Like, we're going to run and he'll get evicted. And he was. And then they left in the car. So that's quite something, right? So, that day, to think of this guy already having such a temper, that's really putting it mildly, isn't it? Being such an abuser and domestic abuser as well. Yeah. This guy having his car break down, and then Harmony, shame. And she had an accident in the back. Oh no. And then he took it all out on her, which seems to be what he did, which makes him the ultimate coward. Just remember that. This guy thinks he's extremely tough with his little teardrop tattoo. Yeah, no, this guy's a complete coward. A micro man. Okay, so, see, that's where the snark is appropriate. Go for it. Okay, so anyway, moving on. Even though he's innocent till proven guilty. This we know. But there's a lot of evidence against him. There's Maptime, there's interviews, there's all sorts of things, but he is innocent till proven guilty, and we can't wait to see the trial and all of that happen. So, so Kayla said, so prepare yourself, I'm like stuttering already because it's just horrible to hear this. Kayla said that Adam would get upset every time that Harmony had an accident, and he would hit her every time. So if she knew already, like as a 5-year-old, just thinking now the car broke down, she probably knew he's going to take it out on me, you know, which is why she wet herself, if you think about it, you know. It's just so horrible. I mean, how is she supposed to verbalize it? This guy is so scary. Shame, man. Anyway, so then he said, Kayla told these details right. While driving, she said he delivered 3 to 4 blows to Harmony in the back seat at least 3 times on that day with a closed fist on her head and face. He then said, I think I really hurt her this time. I think I did something. Because he said he heard a noise or something and he thinks, oops, and just think about how incredibly sad that statement is. I think I really hurt her this time. That is horrible. She had an absolutely horrible life. Kathleen R. says, and in December, New Hampshire is freezing. That as well. That factors in as well. Thank you so much. Anonymous Lurker says, he's a tuck. The ultimate coward. He is a tuck. Yes. So, no one called for medical attention. Apparently, they were all on their way to a Burger King. And the car had broken down, according to what Kayla said. And then he took it out on Harmony. And then what? The other 2 boys are also in the car. So is Kayla, what is going on? But she doesn't quite remember. There's a little 20-minute time frame where she can't remember what they did. But then they discovered that Harmony was not breathing and was deceased. Before that, they said that she was making groaning sounds in the back because, he hit her many times. And that's when he said, I think I really hurt her this time. I think I did something. And then later, it sounds like they got out of the car and maybe paced around and thought, or what do we do now, or something. And the way she says it is when they looked at Harmony again, she was not breathing and was deceased. To think of all of that, and that's why some people, of course, I get really upset with Kayla. I think at that stage she's also fearing Adam, but no one's calling for medical attention. They left her in the car, basically, to die, is what it sounds like, right? Rob says, thank you for covering this important case, G. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. This case is a lot. It's very heavy. Okay, so make sure you take care of yourself. Take a walk outside, get some sunshine, whatever it is. When we, discuss cases like this. Not that any cases are easy, but cases involving children are just that much worse. Now, yes, thank you, Pernil, for that as well. If people are asking about the tattoos and things, and he's got a Joker on his neck there, you can see it. Okay, Joker. This guy just annoys me now. Prepare for the worst. When Adam realized, oh crap, Harmony's no longer alive, what did he do? Did he try to resuscitate her? No. He immediately popped open that, the trunk. We call it the boot in South Africa. Popped open that boot. Okay, and he got a duffel bag out, apparently an Under Armour duffel bag. Shame, poor Under Armour. They're probably don't say that. But he got an Under Armour duffel bag out, and out of the trunk, and then chucked clothes out of it because there were clothes in it, and then he put Harmony in it. What? What else has this guy done? I know he's a career criminal, but who else has he killed? What has he done? That's oh yeah, okay, don't worry. So she's no longer alive? Yeah. Duffel bag time. What? Apparently, because they were still, living in this car, but the car had broken down, so then they asked a friend, can we stay in your car for a bit? And apparently, Adam would take this duffel bag out every night and put it in the snow to reduce the speed of decomposition. Yeah, there's a lot of evidence against this guy. They stayed in a friend's car after the car broke down. Anthony Badira, who provided substances to Adam and Kayla. He did admit that eventually. He also got his timeline a little mixed up, if you do remember that. And that's fine because it was years later, right? Two years later or so. But he initially thought that he last saw them around Thanksgiving. And that he said that, Harmony wasn't in the car at that point. He took them Thanksgiving leftovers and Harmony wasn't there. So they thought that she had disappeared around Thanksgiving. But he later said, oh, I think I took them pizza or something. And he did say then the dates that Kayla said, which is around that December 7th mark, right? Okay. So just remember that all of these facts are based on his, I don't know how else to say it, lying wife statements. She's lied a lot. So it's actually hard to say, how do we know she's telling the truth now? But a lot of this, so these details, we don't know if it's 100% true or not, or even 50%. So just remember that. But thankfully, investigators have worked so hard in the FBI and they've corroborated a lot of evidence, a lot of the things that Kayla told them they went and found actual DNA evidence to match up that she said we were at that, shelter, and he put the duffel bag in the ceiling vent. And then they went into the ceiling vent and tested a stain they found and found that, Harmony's DNA was there and things like that. Okay, so there is evidence to back up what Kayla said. Because I was always like, how do we know? How do we know that anything Kayla said or the date or anything is true? Because she's lied so much. Thankfully, Maptime, tollgate videos, DNA evidence, and all of those sorts of things make the whole story come together. So majority of what Kayla said seems to have been backed up with evidence. Okay, but he's innocent until proven guilty, so we shall see. Investigators actually tracked down the Sebring and found a pink Troll's toothbrush in it, because after it broke down, a tow truck took it, and I can't remember where it was parked now. I can't remember that detail. If it was parked or sold, but they tracked it down eventually, which was pretty good of them as well. And they found this pink Troll's toothbrush in it, and it was actually proven to be Harmony's. They did DNA tests. They actually got a buccal swab from Crystal, who's Harmony's mother. And thank goodness for that, because I don't know if Adam at that point would have given a buccal swab. Crystal did, and they were able to confirm that that was Harmony's toothbrush, which, that's amazing that I was still in the car, but also very, very sad. Imagine that, the sight of that, like a little pink, I think they said pink, right? Pink Troll's toothbrush in that car, and be like, yep, that's her DNA. She was in that car. Thank you so much, Helen. I really, really appreciate it. Okay. So, let me just see. I just want to quickly check some messages that I'm not missing too much here. I am keeping an eye on what you guys are saying. I don't pop them all on the screen, but I am looking, okay? Liam's mama said, I worked at a prison in medical for years, and this POS is probably what we call PM, protective. He's probably in protective management due to the high profile of the case, so he's protected, which is sickening. That is sickening. Oh, man. And he's really cocky, really arrogant. Now, over several months, the probable cause affidavit that the investigators were able to track down a whole bunch of evidence against him. They say over several months, Adam moved Harmony's body around. Now, if it wasn't for Kayla sharing those details of where exactly they moved around, I don't know if law enforcement would have ever known, right? So yes, hashtag justice for Harmony Montgomery if you do want to like and share so that more people can learn about the case and be ready for the trial. So this is, I just made bullet points now, which I'm going to show you Maptime as well, okay? Of how much Adam moved Harmony's body around. It is unbelievable and so sickening in the duffel bag, okay? From the Colonial parking lot where they were staying in the friend's Audi, okay? Because their car broke down, right? Then they moved into Kayla's mother's house, and Kayla said that Adam had her body in a duffel bag, which he then stuffed into a red cooler until the end of December of 2019. That, I believe, the investigators didn't find any DNA evidence in the cooler, but it was in a duffel bag, in a trash bag, in the cooler. Then, from there, they moved to Families in Transition, a shelter, and he took the duffel bag with the remains in, put it in the ceiling vent in the bedroom, which then investigators were able to find DNA from him touching that vent, which that's excellent evidence against him as well. And when they opened the ceiling vent, they looked and they saw a stain, which they actually show pictures of in the probable cause affidavit, which we can maybe look at it at a later stage. It's just a picture of the ceiling, like the wood and the stain, right? Oh, man. But apparently, he'd put the bag in the ceiling vent, and then there were complaints from other people at the shelter that there was a weird odor and things like that. And so he just put it in more trash bags because it was also leaking at that point. It's just hard. Like, can you believe the things I'm saying? What? Anyway, and so, sure, okay. That was until December 30th of 2019. And then, well, I don't know exactly which date. You see, that's what I mean. How long did they stay there? From December 30th of 2019, how long were they there? I don't know, okay? Because they left her mother's house at the end of December. Then they went to the shelter. Then he moved the bag from the ceiling vent to a closet in additional trash bags. After that, he transferred her literal remains, her body, from the duffel bag into a Catholic Medical Center maternity bag. He did this in the bathroom, added some lime, and placed the bag in a freezer. Gets worse. They then moved to a Union Street apartment, and so the body in actually the Catholic Medical Center bag was then placed in like plastic bin storage, and then eventually the bag was taken by Kayla, because he asked her to take this bag to his place of work, the Portland Pie Company, and store the bag in the freezer there. Right? Sorry, my printer is being naughty and saying, hey! No. Okay. So then, my word. Okay, so can you imagine? And I believe that someone at that Portland Pie Company said, oh yeah, I did see a bag, you know, in one of the freezers, but I don't think much. I don't know what to think of it. I don't know what it was. Like, what? Okay. And to think that Kayla had the CMC bag, the Catholic Medical Center maternity bag, with Harmony's remains in a stroller, with her in between the two boys, her two boys. That's what they say on the probable cause affidavit. And pushing that stroller on the sidewalk to get from where they were staying to Adam's place of work is just, that's a horror movie scene right there. That's really, really scary. Okay, so then in the spring of, and if you've read the probable cause affidavit, you'll know I skipped over a lot there, because there's a lot of details of how he got the body from the one bag to the other. That's too much. Okay, it's a lot. Anyway, and so in the spring of 2020, Adam then rented a U-Haul. He told a friend, Travis Beach, which that is not, I'm not like saying someone's name that I'm not supposed to say. I hope he's going to be a witness at the trial. I didn't study every single witness on the list there. I think he's there. He should be. He's going to be a good witness if he is. But his friend, Travis Beach, said Adam told him that he was so effed. He said, like, I'm so effed, I need your help to rent a U-Haul. But of course, the friend didn't quite know what it was for at the time. He's like, I don't know what's going on here. Apparently, he asked for tools, for blankets, for tarps, so red flag for that. He drove around, Travis said, the county. Drove around the county for a few days, getting rid of stuff wrapped in plastic. Now, this dumb criminal here, allegedly dumb criminal. No, he's a career criminal. I think I could say that. This dumb criminal here. If he really, by the sounds of it, dismembered remains or something, and wrapped in plastic, and then chuck that in places, well, that's a really dumb move, and I hope they find that evidence. You know what I mean? Wrapped in plastic is going to make it possibly easier to find than if just chucked. You know what I mean? Okay, so Travis then let law enforcement have access to his Facebook account, one that he was using to communicate with Adam. So then, in the probable cause affidavit, there's a whole bunch of messages between them and about this U-Haul and everything like that, okay? So the investigators now have U-Haul U-Haul rental records, phone calls that Adam would have made to Travis and to others, and messages, all sorts of things. Social media messages, and even that evidence. I think that will be very interesting as well to see how he tried to cover his tracks at that point, which is quite a bit later. But it's like, you can't even imagine that this was his daughter. Sure. Okay, so again, new tip line. Remember, there's a new tip line now. That is the number to call if you have any information that you think could help the investigation, or, you know, because Harmony's body has not been found. So any information that could help, please do call it in, right? Okay, let's see what else I've got here. Oh, yes. Justice for Harmony Montgomery. There's the new tip line again. Just look at her. I hope there will be justice for her. I hope, you know, I can't really, I'm trying to stay kind of neutral. I can't stay neutral on this. Like, this sounds horrendous. This guy sounds like a walking red flag galaxy. And it's not even a red flag. It's just like horrible, not even human being. I don't know what to call him. But we shall see when the trial starts, and it could last about a month or so if it's the two charges being on trial together, or is it going to be severed. Around February of 2024, starting with jury selection on February 6th is when his trial happens. So as Bertie B suggested, I might do some delayed coverage to make sure that we can watch it safely together. And if it is very hectic, then I would just make summaries like this so that we can do it in our own way, okay? Yeah, Rob says, hoping that they find Harmony. Exactly, yes. Okay. Meryl Miguel says, to me, all these actions demonstrate his paranoia. No remorse because he couldn't get to hide his crime no matter where he put a little body, where he hid a little body. But the thing is, you have a point because there's lots of paperwork that him and his attorneys have been filing. And one of the things that I saw mentioned, because I saw the word paranoia mentioned there, and I thought, what? Is that Kayla is not allowed to, what they don't want, I actually don't know if the judge has granted that. It's a motion that they filed of evidence that they don't want at this trial, okay? And one of those things listed on those bullet points is that Kayla, they don't want it to say that he was struggling with paranoia or had paranoia sometime. So, plausibly, could be, yes indeed. Thank you, Anonymous Lurker, for all the hearts and flowers and everything for Harmony. Okay. So now I've got a little clip to show you, and then we're going to do some map time because I just want to show you how ridiculous all the movements were, okay? Just how everywhere he went, but we actually don't know from the point of where he rented the U-Haul truck where all he went. That part of map time is missing for everyone. So unfortunately, besides one toll gate camera that caught him. And he also went through toll gates without paying and all sorts of things, right? Okay, so that is my presentation for today. Done. Now let's quickly, I want to show you this. This is Adam Montgomery, who's going to be on trial, who is literally, just hear what he says, okay? Let's just make sure the sound is boosted. Yes. Okay. Here we go.
Falsifying physical evidence for altering, destroying, concealing, or removing Harmony's body, abuse of a corpse, and tampering with a witness or informant. Montgomery was in court today for a separate weapons case and asked the judge to only consider those charges as she weighed his sentence. Harmony's body has never been found, and police are hoping news of this sentence may compel people with information to come forward.
The only consideration that I ask of you this morning is for you not to consider anything as it relates to the case regarding my daughter Harmony. I did not kill my daughter Harmony, and I look forward to my upcoming trial to refute those offensive claims.
I'm still...
Did you hear that? He looks forward, and he's very aggressive when he says it. He looks forward to his upcoming trial to refute those offensive claims. Like, bro, everything that it's alleged you did in your entire criminal career is pretty offensive. Everything that is alleged here is really quite something. But okay, we shall see what happens there. Okay, now let me show you what I have so far from the map time from the probable cause affidavit, okay? Okay, and we are back without a map. Okay, hold on. There you go. Just look at all of this. My word. I put in all these addresses there. I'm just going to make it bigger and I'll just tell you about them so you can actually see it. Sure. Okay, so we're starting over here at the Colonial Village Apartments, which apparently is where they would park at night when they lived in the vehicle. Okay, is that actually where we start? Hold on, there's that first is that Guilford Street. Sorry, I started at the top there, but that's not where it is. Where's Guilford Street? Okay, yeah. This is where they lived before they were evicted. Okay? Sorry, am I too soft now? There we go. They lived here, they were evicted, then they lived in their Sebring, and they would park it around here, the Colonial Village Apartments, just so that you can visualize at least some of the area, because it sounds so hectic with all these locations that they list in that probable cause affidavit that I just had to see it for myself and be like, where? Okay, so we've got that from Guilford Street, and then they go and stay here. Then the car broke down here on West Webster Street and Elm Street. So that's not very far from where they were staying in that parking area, huh? This is apparently where the car broke down, which is speculatively where Harmony Montgomery was murdered, allegedly. Here, that's where the car broke down. So police have also got, I don't know if they said it was ring cam footage or, you know, traffic cam footage, something to, and actually they have that the car was towed from there, which then with the date of the car being towed and all of that kind of added up, seemed to add up to what Kayla said in December 7th of 2019, right? Okay, so then the car broke down there. After that, they went to Kayla's mother's house, which they moved in there. Just hold on. Which was over here. Then they stayed with Kayla's mother, but that was just for a short bit. It was a few weeks, right, in December. About 2 weeks or so. They moved in there. After that, they went to the shelter, Families in Transition shelter over here. And it was in this shelter, and just look again at the distance, if Harmony was murdered in the car here, allegedly, it's not far either that they're staying in the shelter and it's putting her body in the ceiling vent. That was around here. Okay. After that, they went to stay at this Union Street apartment right here. Now, the one thing I don't have in here is that, can I still, wait, is Portland Pie still there? Portland Pie Company. Nope, that's not it. I wonder what that exact address is. It's somewhere. I'll find it eventually. This is just like first round of map time, right? Because Kayla walked from that Union Street apartment to his workplace, which wasn't all that far, I believe. It was just around the corner to put the bag in the freezer. Remember that? Okay. And then eventually they went to this Econo Lodge. And I think that's the same Econo Lodge where Adam's new girlfriend would later die from an overdose. Sure. Anyway, so it's all around this area and it's in New Hampshire, Manchester, New Hampshire. So just for those of us who are from, you know, all over the world, this is where we're at. Here's Boston, here's New Hampshire, there's Maine, okay? Portland, Maine is right here. Okay, and New York is here. I think anyone that's from overseas, right, we can orientate ourselves from New York. Fury's come to say hi. Fury, we're a little busy with map time now. Okay, so there's that. And then I wanted to quickly show you the documents here. We're not going to read through all of it. I just want to show you a few of them so that you could just see, oh my word, we could just, whew, there's a lot of documents. Lots in this case, which is always great. We love documents, lots of facts, lots of things, but there's so much to go through. Consider this the overview, the layer one of the case, right? Okay. So Heather says, if my memory is correct, I think they checked a ravine in Florida. I think they checked everywhere, right? They started looking everywhere all over to see, well, can they find Harmony's remains? But they never have, which is just really, really sad. Okay. James says, how many months did he have Harmony in a carry bag? Gotta go back to that timeline there. And I will actually, when we do the probable cause affidavit, I can't remember exactly how many months. Wait, it was in the summer of 2020. How many months in the carry bag was about, sure, if it was really in the summer, the spring or summer of 2020, it's like 4 months. About a month or two in the carry bag before being transferred to a CMC bag. And then after that, still, it seemed, I think the timeline is about 4 months. Okay. If you know the exact time, tell me. That I still need to calculate. There we go. Portland Pie Company. Elm Street. Is that also on Elm Street, MK? Okay. Maybe I should quickly go look at that. Let's go. Portland Pie. Wait. Pie Company. York. Oh, Elm Street. Is it? Elm Street. This one is on York Street, but this is Portland. I can't find the one Elm Street. Elm Street, Portland. No, it's not finding it there. But we did see where Elm Street was, so it's not too far. Anyway, so I want to show you this, which again, this they say final pretrial. So yeah, you can see final pretrial January 16th, which is already come and gone. And then they say jury selection February 6th, 2024, and the jury trial is the month of February. If I go here, look at these types of things. This is what I want to show you, that the defense is pulling out all the stops already. So they say motion in limine regarding or relating to the Home Depot purchases. They basically want this evidence to be thrown out. Oh my word. They say, now comes Adam Montgomery by through his public defenders, Caroline L. Smith and James T. Brooks, and respectfully moves this honorable court to exclude evidence of a February 15th, 2020 purchase of pelletized limestone. So if she was allegedly murdered on December 7th of 2019 and is buying this limestone, pelletized limestone, in February of 2020, then that would mean she was in the duffel bag from December the 7th until February 15th. And then after that, in a different bag until the spring of 2020 when he got the U-Haul and then did all sorts of other things. So they say in the Home Depot in Hooksett and a February 26th, 2020 purchase of pelletized limestone, a metal cutting diamond blade, a fuel grinder, and a lithium ion battery and charger from the Home Depot in Manchester. And the defense is like, yeah, okay, we would like that thrown out. I don't know if that was granted or not. I highly, highly doubt it. Thank you, Hippie at Heart. You said 786 Elm Street. I'm going to quickly write this down and we could look at that afterwards. 786 Elm Street. Closed down. I wonder why. Sure, okay. So who knows if... I don't think that's going to be thrown out, but that's quite the stuff to buy, isn't it? And here, what do we have here? Here we have allegations of prior or subsequent bad acts. They also want that thrown out. They want to exclude evidence of any crimes, wrongs, or acts allegedly committed by him other than those alleged in the above referenced charging documents. This motion is based on New Hampshire rules of evidence as well as rights to due process, and a fair trial is guaranteed, and so they say. So here, the one clause I saw is when they said they want his previous conviction from the weapons charge trial not to be brought up at this trial unless he testifies. Yeah, he likes control, you guys, obviously. This is the probable cause affidavit. Oh my, it's 54 pages, and yeah, the actual probable cause starts on around page 8, I think it is. There we go. Yeah, it's very, very hectic. Anyway, so you could see this one is actually a wonderful timeline that Crime Curious made that I was like, whoa, look at these bullet points. Oh, sorry. Crime Curious, if you're still in chat, I wanted to show this. Crime Curious with Jennifer Knight made this summary as well. You love bullet points too. We love bullet points. So if you haven't seen that, it is on her website as well. And then I actually want to go back now. I'm curious about this. Wait, it was 786 Elm Street. Okay, 786 Elm Street, Manchester, New Hampshire. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take these out. Right, wait. Which should be like that. And let's walk it. Oh my word. So I think that Kayla would have walked from this Union Street apartment to his workplace then at 786 Elm Street with a stroller, with a bag, with Harmony's remains in, with her 2 boys next to the bag. They said it was between the 2 boys. What? That is, and both boys were under the age of 5. That is horrifying. Imagine when they grow up learning that. That is so scary, right? Yeah, Jean says, I am glad he's finally facing trial. Yeah, me too, me too. So it's pretty sinister what he bought, right? That's pretty hectic. Never mind, imagine all the evidence they have with the messages he sent and just everything. Ooh, it's absolutely terrible, isn't it? So, okay, I think I'm going to leave it there because there's these documents. Let me just see. I think I've gone through everything I wanted to. We've already gone over the bad acts. Here states motion to seal the probable cause statement for arrest warrant. We've already done that. And I wanted to show you this. Wait, this one, which is a report from February 25th of 2022. They say comprehensive update on the ongoing case involving Harmony Montgomery and recommended systemic improvements. Okay, so the state of New Hampshire did this, and it's an entire background as well of like the CPS interactions with the family and what happened and a whole case history. So this is interesting too, which I think I should be able to link this for you. If I can't link, I think I can link it for you in the description box. Otherwise, you can find it quite easily on the New Hampshire court site. It is there as well. And if I can't link it, it will be on Patreon as well. But it's out there, okay? So they've also done an entire case study, which I think is to learn from this case, which is great, right? Okay, well, everyone, that was a lot. That was intense, and we're going to leave it there for today. There's a lot, as I say, we can discuss. There's a lot to go over. This was really just an overview. Thank you so much for being here to go over this case with me. I know it's really, really not easy. It's not nice. I just really hope that there will be justice for Harmony Montgomery, and I really hope that they are able to find her remains eventually. But the problem is that it sounds like there were many plastic wrap packagers, you know, so that's really sad to think about. So I look forward to seeing what's next in this case, to see the trial, maybe in a delayed way, and to hopefully be able to read you that probable cause affidavit without the really graphic pages, of course, because it's just too much. Okay. Yeah, NH Girl says, well, I hope the Econo Lodge replaced the mini fridge in the hotel room, but it's Econo Lodge, if you know what I'm saying. Right? Because apparently you put the bag in the mini fridge in the Econo Lodge for a little bit too. Terrible. Thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate it, and I will see you all again very soon. Thank you so much, mods. I know like cases like this can really bring about people's emotions, right? People get worked up and then they start fighting with each other, and please don't do that. Stay kind to each other. There's no reason to fight with each other. We should all be looking at the suspect in this case and be like, okay, he's on trial. Let's see what happens here. I will see you all very soon again. Like and share so other people learn about the case, and stay safe. Remember to take care of yourself and your mental health as well. Okay, and I guess another lesson of this story is don't do drugs. Oh man, this substance abuse that they struggled with really harmed a lot of people, and especially children, and especially Harmony Montgomery. Thank you so much. I'll read your message as I play the outro now to myself. Yeah, thank you so much. Did you see the jury's going to be doing a view, Harmony? I didn't see. I will read that again now. Thank you so much. See you soon.